Hey folks, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. I thought I'd update you on the progress of my vegetable crops. We're going to do some garden touring and we're going to do some garden tips today. So I know I did a garden tour just 8 or 9 days ago, and you might be thinking, well, what's changed? I mean, we're at 8 or 9 days, what's the big deal? Well, a lot has changed actually, because we've had an unusually warm winter and we've had an unusually wet week, and a whole lot of growing on has been going on out in my garden. So my crops, my vegetables are really putting on right now, and now is the time where I'm eating out of my garden in earnest. And so I thought I'd take you in there and show you some of the vegetables we're getting.
It's getting good down in there. We can start to see those carrot tops. Yeah, these are Danvers half long. These are Kyoto Red, and they're starting to put on some root as well. I don't know if you can see that in there. That's nice, huh? Dog came in here and walked all over my carrots, and you can see these cosmic purples were probably in good shape. Look at that. She snapped off all the tops of these carrots. Some of these are damaged, and so I'm not going to be able to eat from those. That's sad, huh? Look at that, all that snapped off of there. Man, that makes me mad. Some of them are still growing in here, so I'll just kind of leave this and see what happens. But yeah, we lost some carrots there. Well, now I have a spot in which I can plug something else in. Problem is I don't have anything else yet to plug in there.
So now these carrots, because they are living roots, I can cut that off and eat that bottom part. They'll be okay, even though my dog enjoyed the top part. But all this dead material here, right into the compost. I noticed my compost has heated up just a little bit more. It's almost back up into that green. And that's because I've been putting a lot more nitrogen in there. Cabbage trimmings, carrots, stuff like that. And yeah, lots of coffee grounds. And so compost in the winter doesn't burn as hot, but it's getting there. I'll need to fork this around and turn it up a bit. Okay, so now I have gone and turned my compost, put a little bit of moisture in there, and I'll expect to see that temperature climb up another 10 degrees maybe as this starts to activate a little bit more. Compost usually reduces down about 10 to 20% of the volume of what you put into it, because all that water gets out of there and you're left with the solids. And you know, organic life is 70 to 80% water, so you're only going to get a 20% return. And that's why I have so much space, and I want to put so much more material in here. But what's in here now, I need this to be ready in a few months for to side dress my spring garden. This is not going to be enough to cover my garden in the no-till method, even though that's what I'm trying to do. It's not enough. I use these wood pulp egg cartons to be a good source of carbon for my garden. This is basically just wood pulp with natural binders in it. This is good compost material. If you have a restaurant which can supply you with these things, I suggest that you use them in your compost. They break down really quick in the summer. Not so quick in the winter. It takes 2 weeks or so if you get a good balance of nitrogen. What I want to do is put nitrogen now on top of this. Greens, coffee grounds, things that are fresh, and layer them on top of this. But these break down really well, and they're a good source. I have a source for them. My son brings them from the restaurant where he works, and yeah, that's good stuff. I'm gonna need to mulch these onions pretty soon, because onions don't like weeds. Onions do well in weed-free environment. I've got a lot of chickweed coming up in here. Chickweed is kind of the native pioneer plant. It fills in where you've got disturbed soil, and it piles up in the lawn. It's not a bad weed. You can eat it. It's good in salads. But yeah, you don't want onions competing with weeds, even chickweed. So what I need to do is come in here and I need to mulch all this onion bed, and that will help me to head off the emergence of weeds in the springtime if I get a nice thick layer of mulch on here. So
Yeah, I'm going to use some leaf mulch here, and that ought to be real nice for these onions. Yeah, that's beautiful. Look at these glorious cabbages right here. These beautiful purple cabbages are going to be delicious. They're a little slower to head up than my green ones. But I mean, look at that gigantic leaf. That's awesome. Look at these beauties down here. Those are some big turnips. Those are Japanese red turnips. I'm not ready to pull these out yet, although they need to be soon. Plenty of greens to eat in here. But I like to eat the turnips too. Yeah, they're getting nice and big. When growing cabbages, you always want to pull off these yellow leaves because these leaves have done their job, and they harbor pests. Slugs and snails get down in there and feast on these. It's like the dinner call. So I've got some over here. Let me see if I can get over to them. That one. This one's done its job. And that one. And this one. Are there any more? I don't know. Yeah. And while you're at it, grab your weeds. So this is nitrogen for the compost pile. Good stuff. Don't let it go to waste. Down in here, these are my little Parisian carrots, and they're starting to put on root and show a little. These are in a container, and I've thinned them out as much as I think I could thin them without destroying others. But yeah, that's nice. They're going to kind of shove each other out of the way a bit in this container. And fortunately my dog has not walked in this container, so we're able to get some growth in there. That's what I like to see. Right here on my fig deck with my dormant figs, I noticed that I've had a pest chewing on my brown turkey. Now, I have not really cared for this brown turkey very much. It's really, I was thinking it would be a rootstock for grafting, but I get upset when rodents come and chew on my figs. That's what that looks like to me. So I set up my game camera because that hole right there, I suspect, has been re-inhabited by a rat. And sure enough, that's what we found. So, back to rat trapping. Look at this temperature. Today is January the 15th, and it's, what, 76, 77 degrees outside? Yeah, that's crazy hot for January. But I'm not complaining. It's really helping my plants a lot. So you've noticed, if you've watched my channel, that this fence around my carrots is new. That's because my dog liked to take a stroll through my carrot patch and nibble on the carrots, and that made me mad. I've had to put a fence around this bed here. As you can see, there are dog footprints all in there. But I've got some radishes that I sowed in here a couple days ago, and you can see, well, that's not a radish, that's a piece of trash. There we go. You can see that the radishes are coming up. Here's a tip. If you ever sow seeds and before they germinate something gets into your garden, don't try to smooth it out. Those seeds will come up anyway. They've just been pressed down a little bit, but if you start smoothing those seeds out, you'll bury some of them. In my dog's footprints, if I cover that over and there was a seed down in there, I would bury it about an inch deeper than it needs to be. So you can see that that seed came up in the bottom of that little footprint hole just fine. And you can still see their rows. So yeah, if your dog or cat gets in there, well, cats are different. They actually dig and remove material and spread it around. But if your dog just walks around on there, yeah, don't worry about that. So I'll have another harvest of radishes. So I have in here the Chinese red meat, and I have in here one that I haven't grown yet. This is a China rose, and it's very similar to the one we grew earlier, and you can see there's one coming up right there. I've been growing beets, and they're just now starting to bulb up. They're a little bit slow. I'm not entirely sure why. But I think it might have something to do with maybe a lack of phosphorus in the soil. I'm not entirely sure, but they're getting there. I pulled out a pretty good size one the other day. The greens are delicious. I've got plenty of those. And my kale, again, I don't eat a lot of kale, but when I do, I'm likely to strip that plant from the bottom up, you know, about halfway and take a pretty good harvest off of it. I did plug in, as kind of an afterthought, some butter crunch lettuce. And this stuff is ready to eat from. Real nice lettuce there. I put some over here as well instead of wasting it. So I could actually take some of this and plug it in my hole over there if I wanted to. Or I could plug some of that in the hole in my carrots right there. But I've got enough of that going. Yeah. My little backup cabbages here are actually starting to head up. I might just leave those there. These guys are my second stringers. When I harvest a Chinese cabbage out of my garden, I might put one of those in there. That's the plan, at least. But, you know, in gardening, plans tend to change. You get ideas, and you change the way you go along your gardening journey. Well, I might just let them grow right there. So the plans for my produce that I'm growing right now include making kimchi with my Chinese cabbages. I'm going to use famous Korean chef Mang Chi. I'm going to use her recipe for traditional kimchi. I'm currently gathering up supplies, and we'll do that probably this weekend. With my heading cabbages, the green ones I'm going to make sauerkraut, and with the red ones I'm going to use them in various other ways, including, you know, shredded on fish tacos and things like that. So the carrots, yeah, we'll just use the carrots as they grow, and I'll keep the carrots in the ground until March, when I need to have that ground reclaimed. I've also been reading a lot of stuff about nutritional food. Steve Solomon's newest book, The Intelligent Gardener, Growing Nutrient-Dense Food. The title's a little misleading. It's really about how to get healthy food out of your garden and how to mineralize your soil. Because, you know, we organic gardeners have been doing it the same way for almost 100 years now, following, you know, particular methods that have been established by particular prophets of organic gardening, so to speak. Lots and lots and lots and lots of compost, lots and lots of organic material. If you have a problem in your garden, throw more organic material on it, and that's the solution. But it's not the solution, and stuff will grow. But the question is, are you growing the tastiest and healthiest food, the kind of food that actually reverses health problems? And you know, we have a sick nation. We eat sick food. We eat processed food. We eat even our organic stuff down at the grocery store isn't as nutritious as it could be. And well, I'm just learning about this. This is going to be a world-changing book for me, I think. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to test your soil this spring, and how to have your soil balance, your soil mineral balances. That's going to be, you know, we're going to balance our soil this year, and I look forward to bigger crops and better nutrition from my garden. So yeah, that's what I'm learning. Steve Solomon, The Intelligent Gardener. It is a dense read. There are parts of it that are very dense. There are parts of it that are very zippy and light reading. I like the history of the organic gardening movement. I like the history of food in world history and the importance of it. I really enjoyed that. When it gets into the chemistry and things, it starts to bog down, and it's tough reading, but I'm pushing through because I want to learn. And I want to learn from this man who is wise enough and humble enough to say where he made mistakes in the past and where he was probably telling people wrong stuff. And he admits it, he confesses it. And he also says the information in this book, if he changes it, we'll get to know. So yeah, Steve Solomon, good guy. So as usual in my videos, I try to add value. I try to add tips and pointers and gardening knowledge that I've gathered up over the years from folks like you and folks who are wiser than me. I try to pepper those in where I can, and so I hope you found this video to be useful. I hope there's something in there you could enjoy, and thanks for coming along with us. Hey, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, share our videos, that really helps, and we'll talk to you next time. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.